Hello! This is the final video about distance and midpoint and slope. Here I've got our distance, midpoint, and slope formulas and 3 problems that go with each of these formulas. However, they contain no pictures. They're completely word problems. Let's begin on this first one on the left. It says the endpoints of the diameter of a circle are -3, 2, and 3, -2. What is the length of the diameter of the circle? Round your answer to the nearest tenth. Well, this word here, length, tells me that I'm going to be using the distance formula. If I want to find the length of something, I need to use the distance formula. I will use -3, 2 as x1 and y1. And I will use 3, -2 as x2 and y2. The formula calls for x2 first, so 3 minus x1, which is -3, squared, plus y2, which is -2, minus y1, which is 2, squared. Notice that the squares are on the outside of the parentheses. I can take this over to my calculator and plug everything in all at once. Square root, in parentheses, 3 minus -3 with a square on the outside, plus another set of parentheses, -2 minus 2 and a square on the outside. I have 7.2111, which I will round to 7.2. Round to the nearest tenth. That's 1 decimal place. If you don't like the calculator, follow the order of operations. Within the parentheses, 3 minus -3 is 6. -2 minus 2 is -4. Then square each term. 6 squared is 36. -4 squared is 16. Now add the 2 together. 36 plus 16 is 52. Now I can take that over to the calculator, find the square root, and I have a match. 7.2. On to the second question. A line segment has an endpoint at 3, 2. If the midpoint of the line segment is 6, -2, where is the other endpoint? There are multiple ways to do this problem. Here's my suggestion. I'm going to draw a very generic picture. Here's an endpoint with a line segment, the second endpoint, and the midpoint. Endpoint number 1, endpoint number 2, and midpoint. The problem tells me that a line segment has an endpoint at 3, 2. If the midpoint of the line segment is at 6, -2, what is the other endpoint? Well, since the midpoint is right in the middle, I can use a pattern to get from endpoint 1 to the midpoint to endpoint 2. In order to get from the x value of 3 to the x value of 6, I need to add 3. If I follow that same pattern, 6 plus 3 is 9. Following the same technique, I can work with the y values. To get from 2 to -2, I need to subtract 4. So following that same pattern, -2 minus 4 is -6. Endpoint number 2 has a location of 9, -6. If you've never seen that method, you may want to speak to your teacher about a different way to do that problem. The final question is about the slope of a line. Here, they give us 2 points without a graph. Therefore, it would be hard to use rise over run to determine the slope. I will use the slope formula. I will use x1 and y1 as -5.7 and x2, y2 as -2.9. Y values on top, 9 minus 7. X values on bottom, -2 minus -5. Working on the numerator, 9 minus 7 is 2. Working in the denominator, -2 minus -5 is 3. This fraction cannot be simplified, therefore 2 over 3 is my final answer. If you have any questions about distance, midpoint, or slope, make sure you see your teacher. Happy studying!